Hey guys, just so you know, starting with this video, I'm gonna start doing something a little different where pretty much if I go to a concert, I'm going to just do a quick little review about it just to say what I saw, how I felt, what I thought about it, what impressed me, what amazed me, and just overall just how much fun I had. And you guys can just put down there in the comments section like whether or not you liked or hated it or what you thought about it too. But I thought about doing album reviews for this channel, but I mean, everybody does album reviews, but not a whole lot of people do concert reviews. So, the next few videos I'm going to do are just going to be me talking about all the concerts I've been to. And the first concert I ever went to was Weird Al's Alpocalypse tour. Now, say what you want about the album. I know it's not Weird Al's greatest work, but I mean, the concert itself was pretty banging. And I got this awesome t-shirt, which I get complimented on a lot, so that's a plus. But pretty much since this was my first concert, I didn't really know what to expect from a concert. So when I went there, like, the idea just hit me. Like, this guy that I've been listening to spent how many hundreds of hours watching his music videos, listening to his music, like memorizing the words to his songs. If you've subscribed to me, you know I know all the words to Albuquerque. I did an Albuquerque vocal cover, but just this guy who's like so many people have seen. He's released all this music, and now when the lights came on and he came out on stage with his accordion, I'm like, oh my god, he's there! That's him! Right there! And I was just overcome with joy. Like, that's like the feeling anyone gets at any concert, really. Especially if it's the first concert you've ever been to. So, I will forever remember that moment when he first came out on stage. But, oh, and if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm probably going to be looking at this a lot. It's just the set list of the show, just so I can, like, say different things. Like, Polka Face was the opening song, and, I mean, like, it's just a medley of songs that were popular at the time, so not a whole lot to say about it other than it's a great concert opener. Then, the next song he did was Smells Like Nirvana, and keep in mind, I never saw the video before hearing it at the show. I don't even think I ever even listened to the song before the show. But he did the song, and like the girls came out, like the cheerleaders like danced along during the chorus, and I'm like, what is this? This is kind of weird, but it works. Like, when I saw the music video after the concert, I'm like, oh, now it makes sense. Because, like, at first, I didn't know who he was parodying by wearing that striped t-shirt over the long sleeve shirt. But, like, as soon as Smells Like Nirvana started playing, I'm like, oh, it's Nirvana. And just the bass line to that song is also really fun because it's just four notes like da 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 da. Yeah. Let's see. Then he did a lot of different stuff from his Alpocalypse album just mixed in there, and I was also amazed by just all the costume changes he did. Just like, oh, he probably did like, I don't know, like 15, because when he first came out, he was just wearing his usual, like, Hawaiian aloha shirt. Then for Perform This Way, he wore the big peacock costume, which was pretty funny. Then he did this Prince parody that I've never heard before, and I don't know the name of the song, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere else, but he wore this, like, tiger striped suit, and I just thought that was so funny. And even, during that song, he went off stage and like went down the aisles and started singing like the different lines to different people in the audience. Like the one line I remember from that song is like, "My love for you is like diarrhea, I just can't hold it in," or something like that. Just something ridiculous love pun that made everyone laugh, and oh, it was just so great. He didn't come down my aisle though, which was a big bummer. But I mean, it was still awesome when he did that. Don't get me wrong. And also performance-wise, all of his background musicians were really good, and also Weird Al's voice. Like his voice has deepened a little bit since the 80s, but I mean, for the last 30 years, he's been taking really good care of his voice, and he sounds basically the same as he does on the record. And with his background musicians too, they perform everything live, and it still sounds just like on the record, so that was really good. And also, the drum solo skit he does with his drummer, where he's like, and now everybody, the drum solo, and then the drummer, like, gets ready, he does stretches, he puts the headband on, and he's, like, pumped up, ready to go, and he, like, hits the bass drum, hits the snare, that's his whole solo. And, like, regardless of how just stupid it was still hilarious, and, like, everybody laughed, and it was awesome. I applauded that. Like, Amish Paradise, he dressed up like the Amish person, going back to all the, costume changes. Like, Fat, he wore the fat suit, and I swear there were buttons on the fat suit that would play all the sound effects, because whenever you hear a sound effect from the music video, he would, like, press something on his suit that would activate it, and during the interlude, or bridge, sorry, in between the second chorus and the third chorus, Santa Claus comes out and he just punches Santa Claus in the face, and that was really funny. Like, you think you're fat? No, I'm fat. Like, oh, that should have been in the music video. Why didn't he put that in the music video? That's such a great skit, but at least he saves it for concerts. And I don't know what kind of budget he has for these shows, but when he came out to do White and Nerdy, which is the first Weird Al song I ever heard, and the song that got me into Weird Al in the first place, so it will forever hold a special place in my heart. But, like, he came out on a Segway, and he was only on it for, like, the first 30 seconds until he sent it back off stage. And I'm like, dude, is that your Segway? Do you own that, or do you only reserve it for shows? Because it was only on stage for the first 30 seconds of the song, which, frankly, you should have saved for the second chorus when you're like, they see me roll on my Segway. I mean, gigantic missed opportunity right there. But I take it as more of an inside joke, because if you've seen the video before and if you've heard the song before, you know that when he rolls out on the Segway and the starts playing, you know it's White and Nerdy. You know what he's talking about. Like, and this tour is probably most famous for its gigantic medley, and I mean, the medley is so long. It has, like, it was something like 16 minutes, and it has, let's see, you did the Beverly Hillbillies, Whatever You Like. I loved that song at the time it came out. Another Tattoo, another great song I loved at the time when it came out. eBay, staple Weird Al song. Spam, one of his old songs that I never really used to like, but after the show I'm like, yeah, I could get into this track. My Baloney, Ode to a Superhero. Ode to a Superhero I never heard before the show, and I immediately looked it up afterwards just because, it's just such a funny song. And then he ended it with his two food songs, Lasagna and Eat It. But, that was probably the most epic medley I've ever seen in my whole life. Just wild and crazy. And then the encore was his two like Star Wars songs, The Saga Begins and Yoda. And I always love when an artist gets the audience involved, but like, because in Yoda, the chorus is Yoda, yo 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 Yoda, yo 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 yo, duh. So it was very easy to get the audience involved with that, because on the last chorus, he did some like that thing where basically you go up to the audience, you're all in their face, and you're like you know the words, and then you just show them the microphone and they sing into it like, oh, just, well, there's perks to paying those extra dollars for the front row seats. By the way, I was way in the back. Like, I was literally in the back row. I wasn't in the back row, but I was in the back row of people that had seats in it. Because this show was almost a sold-out show. It had, like, I think like 680 people went. So all the rows were filled up except the last 4 rows. But I was in the last row of seats that people were in, because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. But, I mean, overall, it was a really awesome show. I was surprised by his sheer stamina, just because, I mean, he did a 2.5 hour set, just a 2.5 unbroken set with no intermission, which, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of live performances in my lifetime, but, I mean, like, there's a reason most bands take that intermission at the 1.5 hour, 2 hour mark, because just playing for 2 straight hours, it kind of wears down on you, and you need that 15-minute break to just sit down, like, drink some water and stuff. But, oh man, I don't know how he did it. Actually, I think I do know how he did it, because some of the costume changes took really long, and that's when he threw on the Al TV thing. You know, you could probably look it up on YouTube too, just like those segments where he does fake interviews with people pretending to be celebrities, which are hilarious, by the way, if you know the celebrities and get all the references they're talking about. So, but all those segments are like, they range anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, so that kind of ate into the time of the show too, which was what brought it to that 2.5 hour length. But, like, it's understandable, because, like, not all costume changes take, like, 60 seconds or however long it takes for, I don't know, Lady Gaga or Katy Perry to change. But overall, I had a lot of fun at this show. I'm a pretty big Weird Al fan, so I'm glad I got to see him live, and I can tell you the man can put on quite a show, and word is he's touring this summer, so I definitely want to see him again if he's going to be in my area. So, yeah, it was awesome, and I guess that's all I have to say about it right now.